Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning LaLa Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Mouillet. This is Good Morning LaLa Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now on Twitter.
And today's all about hashtag Wealth Wednesday. We're actually going to talk about women's empowerment and quite the history going down right now. We're going to also have one woman help us with our wishes to come true. And then finally, we're going to talk with another woman about how she stays empowered right here in Hollywood.
Love it. All about empowerment these days.
Right?
Huh? Yeah.
Absolutely, especially on Wealth Wednesday. I'd like to welcome our very special guest to Good Morning LaLa. Good morning, Ms. Katie Foster. She is an actress, director with a really exciting new project we're going to announce later in the show. And Ms. Alexa Fischer, another actress turned entrepreneur. I love that you both are entertainers and entrepreneurs.
Hey.
How cool is that?
Very cool.
Very cool. So I'm wondering, what's your morning routine like? How do you start your day? Katie, let's start with you.
I think I got a little East Coast, a little West Coast going on, a little New York, a little LA. So I definitely have a little bit of meditation and then definitely a little bit of coffee every morning. And if I shower, then, you know, it's going to be a good day.
Common denominator, coffee and meditation. Alexa, what about you?
I actually will second that. Coffee is my favorite morning beverage, so for sure that's on the routine. But I also meditate. I think it's one of the great things about being in Los Angeles. You get exposed to these kinds of practices. But I also have just recently committed to working out 20 minutes. So I sort of do this, program, and I just get my energy going. So it's a weird combination of quieting my mind and then firing up my body.
Now, do you have to wake up an extra 20 minutes early for that?
I do. Well, I also have kids, so I love to do all of this before they wake up. So typically I wake up maybe 10 minutes to 6, and then I do all my stuff before the kids wake up, and they get out of bed around 7.
It's so important to have a little me time, right?
Yes.
Really experience true wealth. That's something I don't even have kids and I can't figure out. So maybe I'll put it in my wish pane. We'll see what happens. Thank you both so much for being here. We're excited to get to know more about you later in the show.
Right? So it feels a little mellow. We have mellow music bringing us in.
A little weekend, yeah.
A little mellow. What's going on, you guys?
Well, there is no sun in Los Angeles today. Woke up, it's super overcast here. I'm not complaining because we see the sun every day, but it's interesting because it makes weather feel a little novel, right? It's like this moody excuse to put on a sweater, so I wore a crop top. Right, makes a lot of sense.
And it looks great, right?
Looks fantastic.
Yeah, special shout out again to Ms. Rochelle Godric and her new line, Renewal. I'm feeling very springy despite the weather.
Always killing it, Jess. I love these looks. Yeah.
Me too. So, Rob, what's new with you?
Not much. It's interesting. So Andy, the producer, gave me a jade roller, which I was super excited about. You have no idea.
Okay, what's a jade roller? Break it down.
You roll it on your face, and it basically sort of like an anti-aging. It helps with eye bags and things like that.
If you haven't seen it before, it's actually like a little rolling pin you use on your skin, right? So you serum, lotion, whatever, and then you roll it onto your face.
Mine's sitting in my freezer, and I haven't used it one time. Every time I open my freezer, I go, damn, I need to roll my face.
See, that wouldn't be as much of a problem if you're a bachelor like me, because there's nothing in my fridge but the jade roller. But anyway, so I left this jade roller, and he gave it to me, and I left it in Uber. I was busy working. Yes. So I called the Uber driver. He doesn't call me back. He doesn't return it. So then I'm like, I could continue to try to harass him about it, or just let it go. And if it comes back, then it's meant to be. If not, maybe he needed it worse than me. Who knows? So I let it go. Literally today, called the Uber. It's like a week and a half later. Getting the same driver, that I left the jade roller's car in, picked me up, and he's like, hey man, I got this thing. This is yours. How does that happen in all of LA?
Your jade roller?
My jade roller. He was like, I'm so sorry I didn't call you. I'm thinking that's just something magical about that. You let things go, sometimes they come back.
Meant to be.
Yes.
Oh, that is such a great story. Yay.
How funny is that?
Thank you, Uber. And for people being so honest, that's so nice,
It
right?
is. It's mind-blowing. I mean, yeah, it's nice to be honest.
So speaking of, I just was thinking before we go much further, I did want to give a little shout out for all the people involved in the YouTube incident yesterday. And we're talking about women empowerment today, and it's a crazy time in history that I guess some woman went in and she actually shot 3 people. Luckily, none of them were killed, but then she killed herself, which is terrible. And it said that the FBI, there's been 160 incidences, I think from 2003 to 2013, 2000 to 2013, and only 6 of those have been women. And I think it's a sign of the times that something's going on. And from a spiritual perspective, we're coming to a time where heaven and hell, we're having more innovation, more incredible things going on, and we have more insanity than ever. So stay with the people that are empowered. Get your mind straight, get with good community. It's so important in today's crazy, insane social media world.
Yeah, I'm all about positive energy. Obviously, I believe in surrounding myself with positive energy and consuming like positive information, positive data. So it's important to, you know, sort of be clear about that, because you can very easily get distracted by the world and all the craziness.
No, absolutely, and it's really interesting too in talking about women being empowered to remember that it's so important to also stay balanced. Like we talked about with Alexa earlier in the show, she takes a little me time for herself, even if that means wake up an extra 20 minutes early so you can have that, so you can stay in a positive frame of mind and surround yourself with good community. That's what it's about, right?
Right.
Sisterhood, brotherhood, it's all about community.
Right. Speaking of, so excited for this. It's going to help us stay on track. These wish beads. I guess you put a little, you write your little wishes on a little piece of paper and you put them in the little part right here, and then you wear them all the time. How cool is that?
Wish beads, right where witness.
I'm gonna need like 1,000 of these.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'm gonna give them away too, right?
They're really good. They'd be a great gift.
Genius.
Well,
I love them.
What I'm also excited about is that there's a journal to accompany this. So it's a 21-day action plan. So not only do you write your wish down, which I mean can be a lot in and of itself to actually write something down, she also challenges you to do some of these challenges to help you witness and make that dream a reality. So day number 4 was one of my personal favorites, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So it says, what's in your calendar today that you will accomplish? How will it make you feel once it's finished? I am so guilty of writing things down I've already done, so I've already feel accomplished. I'm like on my calendar, well, I woke up today, check, you know? But it's really interesting too, because then she challenges you to write on your calendar 6 months in advance something you really want to do. So take a painting class, visit a new city, ask your boss for a raise, really actually write it down and then revisit that in 6 months, and you'll really notice what are you doing to make that thing happen in your life as that approaches.
Wow, I just love that. I mean, we spend so much time and energy focused on things that don't bring us a whole lot of joy. To, you know, to be intentional about the things that you want to experience in your life is so valuable. And we know from research that when you write things down, you're like 3 to 4 times more likely to do them. So it's important to write things down. I
think it's really important too to be intentional about your time. That is something that I've really been like challenging myself and struggling with. What am I going to dedicate my time to and make sure that it has a positive purpose, right? I can't just go out and socialize. I have to socialize with purpose.
Well, we've talked about that a lot, and it's such an important point to make, Jaslyn. I mean, I just love that you share that, because we often think that money is so important. It is important, obviously, but you can lose money and get it back. If you lose time, you don't get it back. It's the one appreciating asset in the world that you can't save and like earn compound interest off of. Like time not used well is time lost forever.
So speaking of that, we need a little break. We need a little time for ourselves here. No, just kidding. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna discuss women's empowerment. You know, what does this mean? How can you step into your full empowerment? Or if you are a man, how can you, you know, support the women in your lives? So stay tuned, you guys. We will be right back.
It was a hot week in La La Land. I'm Jaslyn Moyer, co-host of Good Morning LaLa Land with our associate producer, Ms. Victoria Simone, and we're here to tell you all about it. On Monday, we welcomed Robbie Hayes to the studio. You've seen him on The Bachelorette, and he has a new company, Leisureletics.
What? Hot.
Tuesday, we welcomed Sean Kushner, aka Kush. Wednesday, we celebrated with Annalyn McCord and Together One Heart, freeing women from slavery. We had Focus TV family in Sassoon in-house.
Nama slay all day. Thanks for tuning in to This Week in La La Land. I'm Victoria Simone. Jez. Bye.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to This Week in Focus. My name is Victoria Simone, producer here at Focus TV Network, America's first live streaming daily talk show network. And today I have my girl helping me out,
Jaslyn Moyer, co-host of Good Morning LaLa Land.
So last week on the Focus TV Network, we shot Reshape with Ali Landry.
And special guest, Ross Matthews.
We had the Alyssa Goodman show.
With the original Iron Chef herself, Kat Cora.
What? I'm so excited to announce our newest show, The Lisa Torres Show, Jaslyn, who was on Good Morning LaLa Land.
We had a great week full of guests, including Robbie Hayes from The Bachelorette.
Hot!
Annalyn McCord celebrating Together One Heart, and In Sassoon, beauty and wellness advocate.
Can I say triple hot? Thank you guys for tuning in to This Week in Focus. Jez, thanks for helping me out. Bye.
Mickey Bubble!
You want to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know everything. That's all we could say with all the freaking lists that you gave me. Soul Reboot with Allison Charles. And I was supposed to say Ross Matthews. Fuck, I forgot. Jeslin's so mad at me now.
No, I don't care.
Russian Cabin.
Trust, then verify.
Yes. You keep doing that. The Lisa Torres show with, do I say Lisa Torres? No. Okay.
Awkward. Okay.
Is it helping? You okay with this music in the background?
No.
All right, how long are we doing the stage for? That is definitely not going in the blooper roll. Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. We are live here from Los Angeles on Wealth Wednesday. We have two very special guests with us today who are not only entertainers, but they're entrepreneurs in and of themselves. Welcome, Ms. Alexa Fischer and Katie Foster to the show. I'm wondering, in this discussion of women's empowerment, who or what really truly makes you feel empowered? Alexa, let's start with you.
You know, I was thinking about this idea this morning, and I think there's this notion that I've certainly tapped into in creating wish beads, and that is this idea that what you need is actually inside of you. So of course I'm inspired by shows like this, I'm inspired by books that I read and talks that I hear, but really this idea of empowerment is something that you almost have to tease out of yourself and know that what you're seeking is actually inside of you, kind of like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, and then we were talking about action being so important. Like it just doesn't happen unless you actually take the action forward. And make your dreams come true.
Yeah. What do you find that like empowers you to actually do that for yourself?
Poverty.
Is there something? Coffee?
I said poverty, but I was joking.
Oh.
You know, I think it's just that decision that says like, okay, well, if I want to get somewhere, why wait? And I think we both relate to this as actresses, where you're waiting in a room and it's up to a casting director or a television executive to say, no, you're the one we want. And I think that, I don't know if you can relate to this, that when you give yourself permission and to say like, no, I'm going to go create my own show or I'm going to launch my own business, you don't need permission from anyone else outside of yourself.
And the community you surround yourself with is wildly important. The friends that you have that say, yes, I want to see your art and your work, and I want to hold it in my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, those are the people that you surround yourself with.
Right.
That's really priceless, especially on hashtag Wealth Wednesday. Well, thank you both so much for being here. We're excited to get to know more about you later in the show.
Right. So today is all about empowering women. It's a huge movement, obviously. You know, Time's Up, Me Too, and all kinds of things going on. It seems to be an actual like divine timing that's happening in the world right now. And the UN says that they have 17 goals to transform the world, and number 5 is gender equality. So this is a big one for all of us, especially because women, you know, they say that it depends on what stat you look at. Every site is different. But we make approximately 80 to 87% in comparison to male income. And in fact, you know, those change dramatically. There's actually different places in the world that it goes down. In fact, Utah, where I raised my son, is 70%. The women make 70% of what a man makes. So imagine right now you just take 30% decrease in income. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge.
Well, and there are a lot of other factors, just to be clear on what that is. So women with children tend to typically make less than men because they don't have as much time to dedicate to their positions. So a lot of times, yes, it's not directly equal, but sometimes our positions aren't directly equal. But it's really scary to think that in those times when there actually are equal, that women are making less.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jessalyn. It's a very complex issue. Huge biases, no question about it, with respect to gender alone. You know, one of the things that I do, I work with executives, and particularly with women, I really encourage them to fight and to sort of, well, first of all, to self-advocate and self-promote, but to also fight for raises and to be, you know, sort of assertive about negotiating salaries. It's really important. Men tend to do it consistently. Women sometimes are shy about doing that, and so that also plays into this sort of, you know, challenge around gender equality, particularly around
Rob,
money.
I'm wondering for the women who are in the corporate world that have worked with you, how do you advise them to advocate for themselves, especially when they're dealing with a male counterpart or a male boss?
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes having that conversation, I feel like woman to woman, it's a lot easier than woman to man.
Yeah, it used to be it was actually a much more difficult conversation even 2 years ago. Now it's a much easier conversation. I would say out of all my female clients, and most of them are female, I'd say that at least 70–80% of them have already received raises, promotions this year, like within the last 4 to 5 months, which is mind blowing. Every time I get a call from a client, I'm like, how you doing? They're like, great, we just got a promotion. I'm like, what? Amazing.
Awesome.
So it's actually a really great fertile sort of soil for asking for a promotion, for getting additional money.
Right.
Yeah, so it's easier, but I would say do your research for sure.
Well, and it's important to encourage women to be in their own right, in their own power. It isn't anti-men or anti-masculinity.
No.
It's not down with the man. It's just time to raise up in yourself and what you're worth.
Oh, 100%. And that's why as a man, I've always been challenged to even understand, and I know that so much of it is insecurity on men's parts, but for me, I love seeing women succeed. I've got a strong mom, I've got a strong sister, I've got 2 strong co-hosts here.
Right.
And you guys, when you guys succeed and you guys thrive, I thrive. Like, I can't imagine a situation where that wouldn't benefit me. And so I always pray for and encourage and do my best to support women in that way because I know I'm part of the same team.
Right. And I do think that the most important thing is educating ourselves, because let's say that 23% of children are raised by single moms. And so I think that women, whether you're a mother, whether you're not, whether you are having a decent income or not, I think it's important to not be in denial. I think it's important to educate yourself and go, what's the reality around this? Because if you're a single mom or you have lower income, the reality is that you're going to be able to do a lot more things with more money. You can, take care of your children more. You can put better food on the table. You can do things. And so sometimes women, I think, need something outside of themselves to have a purpose, to get motivated to take that next step of empowerment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just love what our guests were sharing back there. You really want to tap into that source of power within you and be crystal clear about what inspires you most in life, what motivates you most, and know that if you love that is a sign in and of itself that you have the capability or can develop the capability to fulfill those desires.
Right. And as I was a single mom. I had joint custody with his dad when he was growing up, but it was an interesting time, and I remember times when I could barely put any food on the table. I mean, I didn't have any money, and life is a lot easier with money. Let's face the facts. So I think it's important to know your worth, and I think women tend to have lower self-esteem, and we tend to not think that we have value, and that's what this universe is about. This is about life. It's about an exchange of value and knowing, your worth. So claim it, right?
Absolutely. And one of the keys to that, and I just love that you said that. I know you want to say something, Jez. I'll be short. One of the most important things when it comes to negotiation is, like you said, sort of do your research, be real clear what you might expect in that position for a man, and then overshoot that target. I mean, that's the whole point of negotiation is if the number is 50, ask for 60, ask for 65, they're probably not going to give it to you, but at least you'll hit 55, as opposed to if you ask for 50, you're going to hit 40, right?
I like that.
Oh, it's strong to remember the power in negotiation. So it's interesting, I had my first course with Monica Ortiz. She's created the Exceptional Life Institute. She's the author of The Universe 101. She was a recent guest on the show, and yesterday I had a one-on-one meeting with her, and she said, what's interesting about you, Jocelyn, is you just accept what you think you're going to get. And you don't challenge yourself for more because you don't believe you're worth more. And I thought, ooh, I'm very grateful for what I have. And she said, but you can do so much more. You just have to just stop accepting what is being given to you. It's okay to ask for more.
Absolutely, Jet. And it is tough because I think there's a huge part of this movement, and there's a huge part of even negotiations that can be challenging because in some ways you feel like you're not being grateful or appreciative, and so you want to make sure that you're always doubling down and communicating that, period, no matter what you're offered. And the second part is that when you ask for more, you can sort of use language skillfully and artfully enough so that you can say it in a positive way. It doesn't, the only thing that kind of concerns me about this movement is that sometimes it becomes increasingly negative, which I understand. But you've got to be careful because you want to continue to position yourself in a way that deepens connections and trust and rapport with people, including men. That's how you get things done. Right. So I love what you had to say, Jez. I love that you're also grateful about things and you're grateful about what you're offered. And I do love the fact that you doubling down on sort of knowing your worth.
I think it's also important for mentors. Andy, our executive producer, has been a mentor for all of us, and he's been involved in the angel funding. And I think as a woman, I never even thought, oh, I could actually get funding for my own business, things like that. I think that women, we tend to think, in retail, we tend to think in, traditional positions. And I think that part of it is expanding your mind. So even if you go to a think tank, or you go to angel funding, or you get a mentor, somebody that has had success that can get you out of your thinking, I think that's very important. So I just want to give a shout out to Andy. We love you.
Yeah, we really do. We love our entrepreneur night school. That's what
That's what it is.
I never thought I could be in business for myself. I'd always just thought, I'll take a job. I'll take what I get when I get it. As talent, sometimes that's just the way it is. And he said, no, what's your business? What's your empire? How are you going to build this? And I thought, I never thought I could build it. And now that I know I can build it, I'm obsessed with it. Raise.
So we're gonna take a little break. When we come back, we're gonna go to the back studio, and we're going to talk to two very inspiring and empowered women. One about making your wishes come true, and another one about how she stays empowered right here in Hollywood. Stay tuned, you guys.
Hello, Los Angeles. I am your host and producer, Alex Worley, filming inside Focus TV's West Hollywood studio. Welcome to Empowerista, a show dedicated to highlighting female trailblazers and empowering you to turn your barriers into breakthroughs.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Papra.
And I'm Justin Walter.
And this is What's Good, the show that's dedicated to positive, uplifting stories from all over the globe.
Welcome to Good Morning LaLa Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessa Moye.
And we're making history as the first live streaming daily talk show.
This is where all kinds of shit happens.
Monday through Friday, we are going to be streaming to you live, Los Angeles, at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Alyssa Goodman Show. So Kelly, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Alyssa. This is so fun.
I know.
What's up, Rose girls? I'm Jessica Carroll. Today we're gonna have so much fun because we have fitness personality Katie Austin.
Hey,
we're
thanks for having me on.
with
Cheers.
Katie Austin.
I love it. It
Cheers.
feels like a Saturday.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Millennial Life. I'm your host, Laura Odegaard, and today we are joined by the very beautiful former Miss California and now a TV host, Natasha Martinez. I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
You are tuning in to Slay with Rachel McCourt, and I have a fabulous guest. In studio with me is Liza Glukoff. She's just been named executive producer of programming at Awesomeness TV. I mean, no big deal, but huge. Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Are we so excited right now?
We are so excited.
I mean,
Thank
we
you for
have
having me.
roses, we have perfect lighting, we've got some Spa Girl vodka in case we get a little crazy.
Hey, Dr. Erin here, teaching universal law and spiritual truth, having a conscious conversation in the heart of Hollywood. And I'm honored to have the guest today, who is Christina Pascucci, who is amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's an honor to be here with you. I so appreciate it.
Today on Moms Matter, we're going to talk about money, 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 something that we all struggle with and we need help with, and that's why we have the fabulous Winnie Sun, who's here with us today.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you so much. I know you've been on MSNBC and Forbes, and you are the money expert.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a new magical episode of Soul Reboot. I am your host, Allison Charles. Please welcome and meet this powerful divine queen whose name is Daphne Wayans. I am so happy to be here with you.
I'm so honored to be here. Welcome back live to Good Morning LaLa Land. We're so thrilled to have Alexa Fischer in the house.
My honor.
She's created the wish beads. She is a coach. She's all kinds of fun. An actress. She's, you name it. She's an empowered woman.
I'm busy.
To say the least.
Busy with ideas.
Workaholic, maybe. I don't know. Thank you so much.
Oh, what a pleasure to be here. I love talking about this, so it's an honor.
Right, and these are so great. They're so fun.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I think that I love that we're talking about wealth and we're talking about being an entrepreneur, but I will tell you, I literally have that classic entrepreneur story where this idea came to me. Actually, the first idea for Wish Beads came to me in a moment in the shower. Like the whole idea, the name Wish Beads, the concept, what I was supposed to do with it. And I thought to myself, literally between like shampoo and conditioner, there's no way the name Wish Beads will be available because it's so obvious. And so I scurry over to the computer, literally like bypassing my whole family, dripping wet, just being like, I'm just going to check. This is so weird. And sure enough, everything was available. The name, the trademark, everything. And that is what set in motion this idea that all the years leading up to this, you know, the acting, the coaching, I was working on confidence and communication coaching, and specifically a couple of events right before this download happened, really was this alignment. And once I really understood, like, oh, this idea is coming through me, it doesn't really feel like it's mine, so it's up to me to bring it to the world, to bring it into the world.
Was there any hesitation?
Sure, all the time. But in a weird way, if you really just let go and you start to go, okay, well, I have this idea, and then you lean in with curiosity, the energy of curiosity, then you're like, okay, well, I can figure this out. You know, I've figured out everything else in the past. So I can figure out, you know, with curiosity and support, how would I make something? So I started to remember friends who were in manufacturing, and I started to go and I would go on these little expeditions to figure it out. And the first product is actually this one, which is a kit where you make a paper bead bracelet with your wishes inside. So I don't know how to fast sort of get a close on this, but essentially it is paper where you write your wish in vivid detail. Right? Wow. And then you roll that paper up and you glue it and you cut it into paper bead segments with my handwriting visible.
Oh, whoa.
So in a way, it's like a vision board that you're wearing on your wrist.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah. It's a vision board that you're wearing on your wrist. And so the idea here is that, you know, I was just doing a workshop with some teen girls, and I was telling them about sort of the law of attraction, and I said, you know, just imagine if, you know, you're hungry. You're just like hungry. And you go to a restaurant and you say, I'd like some food. And the person is there just sort of waiting and be like, well, food, that's a little bit vague. But the waitress or the waiter is like the universe, just being like, what can I get for you? Just tell me what you want. And so you go from the food to say, well, maybe I'm in the mood for pasta. And then the waitress or waiter is like, okay, but what kind of pasta? Because we got like, you know, ravioli and rigatoni and spaghetti. And when you start to get really specific and you say, okay, well, I'd like, well, in this case, it was like a 12-year-old. So she said, I want like spaghetti with butter and Parmesan. And I say, now I know what you really want. So if I, it's the same with wishing.
It's such a great point, and I think a lot of that's so helpful to so many people. And I think there are people too that want it to be helpful for them, and they struggle with that, because I know there have been times in my life even I wanted to be specific, but it freaked me out. Like, I'm not sure if I actually want that. I'm not sure exactly what I want. I just know that I want more money. I just know that.
That's so true. That's so interesting, because I relate to that so deeply. I'm afraid to want the wrong thing. I'm afraid if I wish the wrong thing, then I'll screw up the universe's plan for my life because I've manifested what I wasn't supposed to have.
Well, we have this amazing sounding board, and that's just our feelings. So, you know, there's no end to wishing. You know, we have that classic, like, a genie that says, like, you get 3 wishes. You get as many wishes as you want. I'm rocking, like, how many wishes right now? Like 5 or 7, 6 wishes. And so this idea of what do I want, you can ask yourself, well, what makes me feel good? And part of the wish bead experience actually starts with a visualization. So that you listen to some music, you're being led through a visualization, there's audio recordings that you can download and listen to before you make your wish. And in a way, you're kind of inviting this moment in time, and you see it as if your wish has already come true. So for some people, it's about seeing a table filled with like all of your loved ones and eating great food. One time I had a visualization, I was leading a group, and I saw myself in my future office, and out of the corner of my eye, in my visualization, I saw the top of a white, fluffy dog. And I thought to myself, ooh, I don't have a dog, like in real life, you know, afterward. And that night I went home to my husband and I said, I just have some news, like, I think this dog is coming. And I kid you not, 2 months later was walking to the bank, and they have a pet rescue place right in front. Oh, and this feeling overcame me. But I saw this place all the time. For 10 years, I never got a dog. But this feeling came over, and there he was. So now we have Eddie, and he's literally like a white, fluffy dog.
So what I love about this is that we know that typically if you've written down your goals, you're 80% ahead of whatever. And if you look at your goal every day, you're supposedly in like the top 3% of goal setting. However, and we talk about this a lot, we have mixed feelings about goal setting, because the moment that you declare something, you actually take on an identity in the psyche, and there's a resistance to something that's not. So oftentimes that's what's holding people back from really, it like stops them the moment they actually set goals. So I love that it's wish, because for me, it says almost like you're saying it, but you're also like releasing it.
Exactly.
And that's what I like about the wish.
And you're allowing this process of manifestation to occur. You're energetically saying, hey, universe, like, I'm up for getting this. Like, I'm ready to invite this feeling. But instead of just sort of sitting back and just sort of waiting and be like, I wonder if my wish is going to come true, you actually activate it with this wish work. So this idea of just tiny, simple things that have an accumulative effect in terms of getting you to focus and draw that to you, you start to notice the signs and symbols that are appearing to you that are making your wish come true. So it's people that you meet or articles that you read, the coincidence that we're like, oh, what a coincidence. But it's not a coincidence. That's how magic is happening. That's how things are aligning.
So we want to know what's in your wish.
I'm so happy you asked me. Okay, so one of the things that's in here, I don't remember which day, that it says like, say it. And people sometimes get very precious with their wish. So I have a wildly audacious wish. And that is, in this one is like super juiced with so much love. I've worn it for a long time. Part of this vision that I have is to have 1 million people together in one moment, so whether they've got their wish beads on their wrist or they're creating a wish bead, where I'm seeing myself on stage with some amazing people. India Ari is one of them. I'll tell you why later. We're not friends yet, but we will be. So this idea of getting people together for a collective wish creation. And the reason why I say 1 million is because I can say this sort of in this company, but this idea of collective consciousness. When we are saying to ourselves, you know what, what's happening in the world can fill us with despair and overwhelm and sort of feel like we're powerless. But if you have 1 million people who are committed to making themselves just a little bit happier every day, to feel a little bit more in connection with their desires and dreams and to feel excited about it, that's how we change the energy. Because you being happy and you being happy and you being happy has this ripple effect. And you also have this beautiful platform where that happiness, those ideas are spreading out on the magical, internet and lighting people up. So that's what my big wish is.
I love it. I love it. And you're absolutely right. I know the challenge for me when I was younger was wanting the world to change so I could be happy. And it's such a trap. Because I'm closest to the world. How can I not change me first? If I'm happy, then the world's a little happier. So I absolutely love that. How did you get to that place? Was there?
I think it's an accumulation. I think that my years in the entertainment industry is that I started with acting because I love people. And truly great acting is about understanding what a character wants and then taking action towards it. That's great acting. And somewhere along the way, actually not somewhere, specifically one day when I was playing a character on the TV show Bones, I had this epiphany where I was like, it's not enough for me to just be a character. I believe that there's a message and my love of people can be translated in a different way. So from that, I was still acting, but I started doing consulting people with communication skills, confidence skills, and also developing myself simultaneously. Pursuing my interests, books, and people that I studied with, and developing a meditation practice. And then, as I said, I think all of those experiences led me to a moment where sort of the universe was like, I've got an idea for you.
There we go.
And then let go. And so with this, I think what's so interesting is that I really do come from a place of humility and not saying I have this all figured out, because I don't, but I know the questions that I want to figure out, and I go seek the right people for the answers.
I love that. One of the things I loved most about your website was that you said you unlock 1,000 watts of your personal power.
Yes.
Where do you start? Could you give us a tip or two on where to just even begin with that?
I think that I talked a little bit about it this morning, and maybe this was like sort of today's idea, was that it all happens with you inside. There is no one else that's going to give you permission to be happy. And if happiness feels like, well, I'm happy if I have a child, or I'm happy if I find the right mate, or I make a certain amount of money, it's actually happiness is available to you immediately. And the moment that led, the night before I had this download, I was doing some volunteer work at a local shelter for women transitioning out of homelessness. And so that night, we talked about the power of positive thoughts and the power of intention. And these women are so brave to take unbelievably difficult circumstances that I couldn't possibly relate to. But I said, through your positive thoughts, you will get more energy to take that next step. And that can be as simple as appreciating a cloud, a flower, a smile, that your ability, your understanding that it all begins with these tiny thoughts can move you in the direction of feeling better. So it's not these lofty wishes or goals that are so unattainable, but it's a daily practice, it's a process. So if you dress up and you look good and you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yeah, that is going to change your energy. If you enjoy that delicious cup of coffee and you're like, oh, this is so good, that changes your energy. And it it spills from there. Then you get the energy that you need to do what you have to do during the day. For sure.
And then you can write bigger, better wishes for yourself.
Big, bold, audacious wishes. Yeah,
big and bold, and make some really good plans for 6 months in advance when I'm in Bali.
Yay! Book it, put it in your calendar.
I will. It's been circling our ether. Bali and a Maserati. Here we go.
Yes. So where can people find you?
Wishbeads.com is where you can get your wish beads, and it's pretty, this is sort of the second version of it, so I've got the 2 versions right now, but with each of these there's a semi-precious line, so each of the stones have a different meaning and a different energy. You sort of go with the one that feels right to you. And then underneath you get this little wish paper and a little toothpick. So you literally have all the ingredients you need. And there's multiple wishes, so you can wish more than once. You don't have to just have one wish, but wish one at a time. And online there's so many resources. You can sign up for the 21-day reminders and email form. We're developing an app. So wishbeads.com/21, and you can start the 21-day experience. And even do the wish bead kits, which is the longer form experience where you make paper bead bracelets. And I'm super psyched. We're developing a program right now to bring this to teen girls in schools. So yeah, it's really, it's fun, but it's all at wishbeads.com and on Instagram at wishbeads.official.
Nice.
So awesome.
So wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. Really
Thank
well
you
done.
so much for being here, for sharing your time, your talent, your wishes with us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on Good Morning LaLa Land. Welcome to the Focus TV studios in West Hollywood. I'm Jezza Moye, host of the Focus TV network show, LA Unscripted, and co-host of America's first live streaming talk show, Good Morning LaLa Land. This is the Focus magazine preview show in an exclusive sneak peek. Today, I have the privilege to announce the March 2018 issue of Focus magazine, and we're calling it the Influence issue, featuring amazing personalities making a difference in our local communities. On the cover, we have singer-songwriter and host of Chasing Glory podcast, Lillian Garcia. I had the extreme honor of both interviewing her and writing a feature for the magazine on Lillian. She's truly an influencer on so many levels. Joining her on the cover is my spiritual influencer and co-host of Good Morning LaLa Land, Dr. Erin Haskell. And with her is a true professor of influence, Amanda Russell. Also featured in this issue, we have the constructional chef, Scott Harris, executive chef from the Four Seasons Hotel right here in Beverly Hills. Byron Thomas and 2 members of the Focus TV family and dynamic duo of lifestyle influence, Janet Gunn and Melissa Myers. Also in this issue, we feature Lauren Everts, the founder of The Skinny Confidential. Hello, gorgeous! And the candle makers Elise Fratto and Maylene Weber of Leone Candeli, which is, of course, right over there. And Cynthia Abby Naked, who I interviewed for my show, LA Unscripted, and she is the founder of a great piece of functional jewelry from the Coley Collective. We also have a celebrity chef, Serena Poon, and her new product, Just Add Water, in a series of 4 mom influencers from our millennial mom herself, host Jenna Barnett. It's all influence, influence, influence in this issue of Focus magazine. Get your copy today on newsstands or online, and be sure to watch our companion video features as well, because we are the only magazine in the country providing a robust video complement to our print features. I'm Jessica Moyer, coming to you from the Focus TV studios in West Hollywood. Thanks for watching. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. We are honoring #Wealth Wednesday Women Empowerment Entertainers, Entrepreneurs. We have a very special guest with us, Katie Foster. She is the creator of a new amazing pilot I'm so excited about, She's Us. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I have to say, I was truly inspired. So Katie literally just walked into the studio one day here at Focus TV, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Katie. What do you do here?" And we were like, "Oh."
I saw a camera and I was like, I'm in.
When you're on your show. I put on my car and I said, "Come back." A couple days later, she comes back. Talk about diligence. Talk about putting things into action. And then she showed me a little bit about what she was doing, and I was like, I'm in. Count me. Let's talk about it.
Let's see. So basically, I created my own show because I'm that vain. So I started out as an actress when I was 22, and I had a small role on Veep, and I did a couple commercials, and just recently, I kind of got to the point where I was like, oh, I really want to create my own show. Mm-hmm. And the idea She's Us came up with a casting director friend. We were sitting at lunch, and we just giggled and giggled about the idea of like, Jesus Christ is like, it's a girl. So that was like, I have to be good all the time, and every time I touch water, it turns into wine. And, I'm like walking on water. I'm in the shower crying because it's all wine. I mean, like the comedy, it felt like is just so ingrained in the story. And so, yeah. And so I was like, no one's gonna make this show for me. I'm not gonna. If I want to star on my own show, I could try to write Bones. Or I could try to write something else. I just wanted to write something that felt true to who I am and empowering to everyone.
So it seems like the show is pretty much about being empowered, but kind of the human aspect of being empowered, and like how you're gonna like go through like many walls in the process, right?
Because it is so hard to step into the best version of yourself, right? Like there's so much fear in being the best human you can be, and especially if you're under the pressure to be perfect, it makes it even harder, I think. I think that's why we're so drawn to Lena Dunham and Jennifer Lawrence, Jennifer Aniston. Like the imperfection of people is truly what. Right. Yeah. Even Trump. You're like, oh my God.
And it's such a good point too, because I think and Jessamine and Erin and I have joked about this a lot, like be careful what you pray for, because when you ask for things and you find yourself empowered, it comes with responsibility. And sometimes that responsibility is overwhelming, and you're like, you know what, maybe I was better off without the gold and the crystal, like I just had, brass.
It's like, is it easier to be lazy? Is it easier to not do anything? And so anyway, so I got to make this own show, and I got to have it be exactly what I wanted. I got to hire exactly who I wanted to. I got to say, oh, this person's a jerk. Like, I'm not going to hire them. They're not going to be on my set. Because it's too much trouble when you can have amazing actors who are also amazing people and are funnier than the other person. And I just like, it was great.
It's special to be able to have the power to create and to create your own community. We have a special look at it. Let's take a look, sneak peek of the trailer of She's Us. Ooh.
Behavior. What are you looking for?
A girlfriend.
Oh,
Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Hi, friends.
What the hell is going on? I don't know who the is pranking me or what is happening.
A lot of people outside.
Can you touch my dog, please? She's sick.
No, no, no. I miss Jay.
So fun.
That's so awesome.
If we can't make fun of ourselves, then it just gets too serious.
Yeah.
Really.
Absolutely. And then to get to create an environment where you get to give people the opportunity to be the best actor, the best cameraman, the best lighting designer, the best sound designer, the best editor. It's a very special thing that I had no idea that I even had the power to do myself.
What do you think you learned about yourself in doing this?
That I could do this thing. That I could make a show and have people really love it. Like people are like, this is amazing and funny, and I relate to it.
And you guys said 2 days ago it's already gotten over 30,000 views.
Yeah, I mean Easter was on April Fool's Day. I was like, okay, fine.
What a perfect time to launch. I've seen it on a few park benches through the city. I mean, really part of what you're doing too, beyond creating your art, is you're building a business. You're creating something that you can sell, that you can build an empire from.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that part of it. How are you marketing? How are you doing? What are the secrets around that?
So I don't know what I'm doing is part of the secret. Like I have to do the best version of it that I know how to do, and I have to ask for help every day. I have my friends who are amazing with social media helping me out. I have my friends who, I called up the bus bench company to get an ad, and the girl was an actress that I'd worked with before. It was crazy. And she was like, oh yeah, we'll set it up, we'll hook. I was like, I want this location. She's like, yes, we're doing it. Fantastic. Like, it's all, yes. It's like, and even walking in here, and being like, can I promote the show on here? Because it's about empowering women, and it's about empowering women in the show, and getting to run my own business. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Don't know, but I'm making it up, and it's
neither do I. And that's what's so beautiful about it, is that through Focus TV, we've created a community, a platform where we figure it out together. Where you do call up the bus bench, and you've worked with her before. You walk in on Beverly Boulevard, and you're like, "Hey, I like you. Let's just help each other out."
Because the magazine is inspiring, but all the articles are about being a better human. Like when do we get to do that? Right, exactly. So we were joking. I was like, "Oh, my friends, I'm like, step up your conversation game. Be deep. Go deep.
Go there, because it is an incredible opportunity to be an influence, to share your inspiration. Who inspires you, Katie?
First off, my friends who are exquisite at their jobs, and they're fearless. You know, they do the best job they can, and I gotta say, my family and how they do the best job they can all the time. They never quit, and all the people I know who never quit. And it's true, even historically, I was thinking about Joan of Arc, Martin Luther King, people who are the best versions of themselves and are still murdered for it. And that's what this story is about. It's someone trying to be the best version, knowing that she'll die at the end of it. So there is a lot of comedic value, but it's also it's
real.
Yeah, it's like sadly real. Yeah. It's too real, and not. People are crucified all the time for their good beliefs.
And it brings up a point for me. And we had the casting director Mark Teschner on yesterday, General Hospital, and he said something very powerful that I've of course heard before, but in the way in which he said it was even that much more profound. And essentially he said, you've got to do what you love, and you have to do it for the love, because if you do not, you will be not only unhappy, but not very successful, right? Yeah. And it's just a powerful thing to remember, I think, and that's one of the beautiful things I think about, what you're doing here, is that you're doing what you love, and you're doing it despite people saying no to you, right?
Because there's like, don't listen to anybody. Never listen. Everybody is dumb and everybody's stupid and everybody's wrong. It's true. You gotta just follow your own.
Except for Rob Mack, because he's full of wisdom.
That's true. I have all the answers and I'm selling them for the $99.99. Just DM me, it's fine.
Dr. Erin, she's a doctor of divinity. I mean, she's got the spiritual world down.
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not have all the answers.
And I agree. Like this morning I woke up and I went, how lucky and how fortunate are we to be having the conversation of women's empowerment. Like we're so fortunate to just create our content, make it happen, not have to go through some process and whatever. And
They'll
then
say, no,
knowing,
it's sacrilegious, it's not right.
Right? And
it's
then
bad.
watching your trailer and seeing how raw and vulnerable you get. And with the YouTube shooting yesterday with the women, and there's a lot of pressure right now. How are you staying in a place that's sane and fulfilling upon dreams without, you know, comparing yourself to other people?
So I don't know how much I was really inspired by your story of your family, of your son and your growing up in Utah. I didn't know that. I know growing up, probably all of us were bullied. Even cool kids were bullied, right? So at some point, I had to go from trying to be someone I wasn't to listening to myself and being the best version of me that I could be, and not saying. And every time with this process, every time someone says you should submit it to a film festival, you should do an Indiegogo campaign, you should do this, and you should do this, and you shouldn't have Jesus cursing. Like you shouldn't. And I just like every time there's a should in there, I just like kind of cross it out and put what I think that is the best step. And
we say we stop shooting on yourself.
Yeah.
Brene Brown is really good about that. If you haven't read her book, Daring Greatly, that was one of the best I've read.
Oh, yeah. Get that shit out of here.
All the should and all the shame and just
bullshit.
Yeah, it's such a great point. You know, we also had a guest, Alyssa Briga, on a while ago, and one of the things that she said is, you know, we often catch ourselves following rules that don't exist, and those are the shoulds, right? And I would say that in my life, and I think it's true with all of us, is that lots of the opportunity for being either happier or more successful comes when you let go of all of these shoulds and you trust your intuition and do what you feel called to do. And I feel like you did that with this show.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what are your next steps?
Having it bought by some big network, and
well, we have wish beads here, so you can write that down. Take your 21-day action guide.
I mean, I got it by my house, you know? It's gonna happen.
Write it down, sister, write it down.
Where do people find you?
Katie-Foster.com, my social media expert, Talia Walsh, got it all set up. It's beautiful and neon yellow, just the way it should be. And at Sheeza's TV, all over the place. I'm learning so much about Insta stories or.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time consistency. It's all about consistency, guys.
Right.
At Sheeza's TV on all the platforms. I'm doing the best I can with 24 hours in a day.
Well, and you're doing damn good at it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We'll be back with more on Good Morning LaLa Land. Stay tuned.
we are here with two gorgeous, empowered women. So I love your guys' story. I love all your empowerment. What does a day look like today? Wednesday in Los Angeles. What do you guys do?
Oh, well, you know how we started our day, which was very similar, so we're revved up. But generally, I'd like to do my high priority things right in the morning. So any goals that I've set out, calls that I need to make, things I need to follow up on. But then I always make sure to leave time for things that are always in development, especially now that I'm in a product-based business. There's a lot of things that you're actually creating. So making time for that, and always making time to connect with other people. So this is,
yeah. Definitely taking the right action over and over and over again.
And Insta-storing the heck out of it, right? Insta-storing. Action stuff, Insta-story.
Yeah, so hard. Learning.
We're learning.
When you figure it out, you let me know.
I'm a people person. What can I say? I'm a people person.
Lots of phone calls. I don't know if you're like that. It's a lot of phone calls and seeing what's going to happen next. And
playing the LaLa game, right? That's what I like. It's all about relationships. It's all about conversations, and so you have to spend an extra amount of time to build that community and build it, because you never know where opportunity is going to come from.
And it's true. Yeah, no, it's true. And I think you were just talking about that, this idea of being able to tell your story in a really compelling way, is that it's not just showing up and being like, hey, what's up? It's really, this is what I'm doing. What are you doing? Learning about people, listening, connecting with other people, because everything is relationships.
Have you guys heard about the thirds? There's a third of the people who don't like you that much, a third of the people that are like, okay with you, you're like, okay. And then there's a third that are very into your stuff. So you gotta, you literally have to stick with a third. Otherwise, like, there's no, and because at first you try to convince all the bottom third to like your stuff. But it's not worth the time and energy.
I'll take 2/3.
I
know. That's a glass
full. So you're looking at raising capital for your...
You know, I'm definitely keeping myself open to that possibility. I really feel like right now, especially with the launch of the new beads, this line only came in December. And so it's really just been a handful of months, and I'm developing right now a kids line. And to me, I still feel like I'm really in the trenches. So before I start that track of going after capital, it feels like I'm in it to know my business, and I know every single aspect of my business right now, which inevitably will be a real asset to whoever I do decide to work with in the future.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly teed up for startup funds, for sure.
It's interesting how many people in LA, entertainers, entrepreneurs, live, eat, sleep business. Whether it's creative or it's something physical, it's 24/7.
It is, but if you do what you love, then it's great.
Who works a day in their life? Exactly. We are so fortunate to be able to get to do what we love here on Good Morning LaLa Land. We are America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday live at 9 a.m. It's going to be a Good Morning LaLa Land.
Have a great day, you guys. Share, comment, and like. Please support the people that you love and the communities that you're with. Okay, have a great day, you guys.
It's obviously us, so.
And Pastor and Bush Beats.